Hello, hockey fans! Welcome back into the neutral zone. It's October 10th, 2023, and we have a new season underway. Hockey is back. 3 games in store for us tonight to officially drop the puck on the 23-24 season. Connor Bedard is making his NHL regular season debut tonight. We will, of course, keep you updated on that. We've already got our first game in the books. The Lightning and the Predators had an exciting start to the season, and then the defending champion Las Vegas Golden Knights will make their season debut, their banner ceremony, their ring ceremony. They got some bling to show off as they take on the Seattle Kraken just a little over an hour from now. All heading into a full slate of games all throughout the week. We'll get you caught up. We'll let you know what has happened, what we think will happen as this season unfolds. It's time to sit back. It's time to light the lamp. It's time to get your forecheck on, to get the power play started, your penalty kill working. It is time for hockey, baby. And once again, hello and good evening, everyone. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis is going to be with us in just a little bit. Hockey is back. We are back. It was a little bit longer of a layover than I think any of us were expecting. We had last done a show on the network here. Let's see. It was all the way back. July the 18th was the last time we did a show. We had a little bit of time off in the summer to reset, recharge, get going. The hockey world, of course, did not take the summer off. Lots of things going on in the hockey world. Some fun, some more serious than others. But now it all culminates in we have regular season hockey to talk about. We've already got one game in the books. We've got one of the most anticipated players that is making his regular season debut right now as we are talking. And we've got the defending champs that are going to make their debut here in just a little over an hour. So it is hockey season. We have got tons to go over. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we get too much into everything, of course, though, we do want to take care of our homework and set the scene for you a little bit here at IE Sports Radio. Of course, IE Sports Radio has been around now for the last 9.5 years, continuing to bring you outstanding content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Be sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com, for sports news, the IE Sports Radio blog, our Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month, pages dedicated to each of our shows, our IE Sports Radio community forum, and stop by the shop and check out the merchandise. Speaking of merchandise, IE Sports Radio is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, the single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. This is absolutely some of the best jerky you can get your hands on. All you have to do is visit planetjerky.net to place your order. They have flavors ranging from classic BBQ to volcanic jalapeno to ghost pepper and lots in between. They ship all around the country. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. And if you're listening live here on Tuesday night, hop on into the chat room. Patty Bax is already there, hoping that we have a great show. You can interact with us that way. You can also follow along with this show. We are on X. Follow us at IESR Neutral Zone. You can follow along with myself. I am at Adam Karnick. Or you can also follow along with Zach. He is at The Pupless on X. And speaking of Zach Pupless, he is now here with us. Zach, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Fantastic, Adam. How are you?
I am doing great. So that was a little bit longer of a summer break than I think either of us were expecting, but felt good, did it not?
Yeah, it did. It was great.
Well, it's amazing how much more energy having two kids in the house is than having just one.
Oh, I'm sure.
All of a sudden, it's just like, wow. All this time that I had, the little bit of it I had, is now sucked up in the fact that there's this little 6-month-old boy in his Blackhawks outfit right now, getting ready to watch some hockey with Daddy here when we're done with the show.
Right. Oh boy, yeah, no joke. And I'm sure they feed off each other too.
Oh, like nobody's business. It's a vicious cycle that they just, this feedback loop that they just do on each other. The older one will act something out for him. He will then giggle and respond because, he's getting attention. She will see that as positive reinforcement and just do some more, and thus it continues.
Mm-hmm. Too funny.
So before we get into the action that has already taken place and is going on right now at the moment, what were some of your favorite moments from the off season? Anything hockey related from the off season that you loved?
I think just still like basking in Vegas's first title, and they got so close that first year, and now that they're, their fifth or sixth season, they actually did it. I mean, that's unheard of for an expansion team. So still basking in that. And then, I think they just scored again, actually.
I think Panther fans are experiencing some PTSD there of just, oh no, the Golden Knights scored again. We have to hear that horn again.
They didn't just win; they won emphatically.
So they weren't the first team to win their first title within 5 years of existing in the NHL, but they were the first one in what is effectively the modern era to do it. You're talking other teams where it was, the 1920s or the 1930s, were winning titles within their first 5 years, but Vegas was the first to do it since, the modern expansion era of the late 60s has started. So.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I just saw on the ticker it says Stanley Cup arrives at T-Mobile Arena.
They are getting ready there in Vegas. I mean, yes, the Kraken are in town, but let's face it, the Cup is in town. There's a banner to get raised tonight. That's where everybody's focus is going to be on that game.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, if it's anything like the game that my brother and I went to in Seattle, Seattle gave them a good fight, but Vegas still won in the end.
Oh yeah. Vegas is definitely going to be somebody to watch for this season for sure. And throughout the week, we're going to be having just about everybody is getting started. Just the 3 games tonight, but then we've got 6 games intact tomorrow night. We've got some teams that are playing tonight, like the Blackhawks are playing right now. They also then turn around. They're playing tomorrow out in Boston. So they have a back-to-back right away to start the season. But then you've got a bunch of other teams making their debuts tomorrow. Patty brought up the Buffalo Sabres make their season debut on Thursday. Thursday's the really big night of the week. You've got 8 games going on Thursday night, and then everything is really starting to click over the weekend. Everybody is intact. So if by chance you're waiting the longest, by Saturday everybody's started. So
nice. Thursday's the new Tuesday, huh?
Well, for this week, Thursday is the new Tuesday. Really, it's Saturday's the big day. You've got 11, 13, 14, 15 games on Saturday. So that is effectively the entire NHL going on Saturday night.
Nice.
All from starting 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time all the way out till the latest puck drop is Carolina out in Los Angeles at 7:30 Pacific time, which we all know in hockey time that means round about 7:45 they'll actually drop the puck out there in Los Angeles.
You're right.
So before we dive too much into stuff here, let's just start with your team, Zach. I know you are a Red Wings supporter. You are very much a Detroit guy. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about the Red Wings this season? What are your expectations for Detroit?
After the last 6-7 years, trying not to have anything too high expectation wise. So maybe I'd be happy for them to make the playoffs again. Start that streak going again.
Yeah. Try to get something going there in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, the streak they had for 25, 26 years, you don't really realize what you have until it's gone, and how hard it is to even get back to the playoffs. So that makes that streak even more remarkable.
Oh yeah. It's once things. I mean, just as the Predators, they played earlier tonight. They had their playoff streak snapped at the end of last season, and theirs was one of the longest active ones in the NHL, and it's now, it's very hard to get that restarted once it stops.
Yeah. But I think they still have a good, strong young core that just is only going to get better. Larkin and Raymond and all those guys. It should only get better.
Yeah, this season I think might be a little rough for the Red Wings. My personal feelings on it, that this season could be a little rough in Detroit. That the Pizza Dome there might not exactly be a happening place this year. ESPN has them in their right before the season started power rankings, had them at 21st overall, and their Stanley Cup odds are long, to say the least, 7,500 to 1 basically. So a little rough to get going there. But I mean, you got Alex DeBrincat in the offseason. That's going to be fun to watch.
I totally forgot.
You got Alex DeBrincat, and you've got your personal favorite defensiveman, is on the team now.
I forgot. Who's that?
Shane Gostisbehere.
Oh, I told you. Well, duh. The ghost is be here.
Yes, the ghost be here, or ghost is drinking beer, whichever you prefer.
Ooh, I like both. That sounds good.
Yeah,
And we technically identify as the dojo.
Right. Of course you do. Because, it's Little Caesars.
Yes, of course. Um, yeah, I totally forgot about those two pickups.
Gostisbehere on defense is probably going to honestly be the bigger addition for you. But anytime you get a scorer of DeBrincat's caliber on your
Oh,
team,
definitely.
that's going to at least try to make things fun to watch over there in Detroit for you guys this
Well,
season.
well, yeah, for sure. I mean, we were talking about that. I think maybe I don't know if it was on the show, but maybe just personally, and who was in the running for that. And I know, I think like Ottawa and Toronto were in the running for it too. And that was so to learn that the Red Wings got him. I was like, yes, that was a huge coup.
It was it, and he's not quite back in the Central Division. He's not quite back, where he'd be playing against the Hawks for a ton, but he'll get to see a
Sure.
couple of times against him at least.
Oh yeah, I mean that's I mean that yeah, exactly. They're not in the same division anymore, but they still it's such a natural rivalry with the region that they at least give us what like one or two games a year against each other, I think.
Yeah, yep, couple times. Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
times, which is fun, which is fine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond, we picked up JT Comfer from the Avalanche. DeBrincat, of course. Sprong we got from the Kraken. He was really good. I saw him in person. Ghostus be here. Well, anything for him, anything's got to be better than Arizona.
ugh. Yeah, yeah.
So he's probably just happy to be out of there.
In a hockey, I mean, in a not hockey sense, Arizona I think would be a fine place to be. In a hockey sense, Arizona is just not where you want to be.
Yeah. I mean, they can try to gussy it up as much as they want to with Mullet Arena and have as much fun as they can, but still.
Yup. Yes, indeed.
Your thoughts on? I just saw the headline that the Hurricanes are picked to be the Stanley Cup winners this year. What do you think about that?
I have no problem with that pick, to be honest. Carolina,
They've been strong the last couple of
they've
years.
been
Yeah.
very strong the last couple of years, and they keep kind of climbing that ladder of, well, we got knocked out in the first round. Well, we got knocked out in the second round. Well, we got knocked out in the conference finals. So they're getting closer. I feel like I was listening to our friends over at USRN on my way home from work tonight. They did their season preview show over the weekend. Unfortunately, I was unavailable, or else Matt had very graciously offered that I could have some speaking time in there with them, but they did a fantastic job. I'll share out the link. They brought up and talked about how if it's not this year, then it's probably not happening for Carolina. So there is going to be, I think, some pressure over there with them to try and finish and try and figure out what it's going to be. What's really going to be interesting with Carolina is they're going to figure out their goalie situation. Freddie Anderson was very good, but now you've got some injury situations there. You got to figure out what you're going to be doing in net. They're strong enough that absolutely they should get into the playoffs. Certainly, they should be one of the favorites to win that division, but so absolutely make the playoffs. But once you get into the playoffs, you'd really like to be settled in and know who's going to be in net for you and who's going to be able to carry you through that. And right now, I'm not sure they know that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The nice thing is it's October. They don't need to know that until April,
Right. Yeah.
That's the flip side of it is they don't need to know that until we get there, because they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be strong enough. It would be a shock of shocks if Carolina missed making the playoffs this year. So they can afford to take this season and figure out who do we like in net, who do we want to have, who do we want to have in net for us, and figure this all out.
Yeah, they got Frederick Anderson and Antti Ranta. Yeah, both 34. Both have. I mean, I know I definitely heard Antti Ranta's name. So I know he's got years of experience. But yeah, we'll see.
Ranta's an excellent goalkeeper. He's an excellent goalie. So whomever they wind up settling in on, they should be in good hands. And, they play that. This is going to sound derogatory, but they play such an analytically heavy style where we're just going to play keep away. We're just going to you're not going to be able to score because you're never going to have the puck. We are going to have the puck. We are going to always be in your offensive zone. So it frankly doesn't matter. You could have my favorite off-season video, hockey related, was that remote-controlled robot goalie in the beer league. Remember that video?
Oh, right.
You could have that guy in net for all Carolina cares because their mission is they're just going to be playing in the attacking zone for 55 minutes,
Yeah, they just have to win every single game 5-4.
Right. They just have to play in the offensive zone all night. That's all they have to do, and that's what their mission is. So makes it a little easier. You don't have to worry about who your goalie is.
Yeah.
You don't have which is nice. You don't have to worry as much then.
Yeah. They still got Tara Vinen. Where's your and Sebastian Aho, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your boy
Nino? Nino Niederreiter. Where did he wind up? I should have just looked it up ahead of time because I should have known you were going to ask. Nino Niederreiter. He is currently with the Winnipeg Jets.
I just got it there too.
He is currently with Winnipeg. So left Carolina.
Perfect segue. I just saw that they signed Scheifele and Hellebuck to matching deals. So, it's interesting. Well, I mean, I guess this is how any organization would do it, but focus on your core. Who are the ones that are powering you to the most success, and keep them there the longest. And
exactly.
Else, is ones you could sacrifice necessarily in quest for somebody better.
Yep. Well, and as we know from hockey, hockey it's similar to other sports like football, like basketball, where there is a salary cap. But the huge difference with hockey is it hardly grows from year to year.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you have, they say the salary cap is a problem. The salary cap really isn't a problem in the NFL. There's just, you have to be creative with your accounting. In the NHL, the salary cap is a problem because it never goes up.
Yeah.
You're basically at 81 million every year in your salary cap, and players want raise just like everybody else. You want to raise every year, and so players get that, and then it's guys, we literally don't have any money. We got to make something happen here.
Right.
That's always the tough thing with the team building in the NHL is the salary cap is so restricted because it just never grows. When they announced it was going to go up $1 million, and it was, oh my gosh, this is huge. The salary cap is going up $1 million. If that happened in the NFL, you would have like panic in the streets. It's only going up $1 million. We got to cut half the team right now. How are we going to fit into this?
In comparison, what does the NFL go up by every year?
Imaginary dollars. The NFL is a license to print its own money. Let's see. The NFL salary cap. Let's see. This year, it is $224.8 million. which is $20 million more than last year.
Ooh. Wolf.
So that's how much it grows in the NFL. And there's no reason to suspect that it won't grow by that much again next year in the NFL.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the NHL, it grew $1 million this year. It might go up half that next year.
Sure.
It's this season it is $83.5 million. The highest it could be for next season if everything goes perfectly in the NHL. They are finally starting to come out of their pandemic recession a bit here, and it could go up to it could go up to as high as $88 million next year.
Wow.
So it is starting to jump a little bit.
Sure.
What's helping that is the players kind of owed some money back to the owners to help keep the salary cap from plummeting during the pandemic, and basically all that money is paid back.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we could be looking at a $92 million salary cap in the NHL here in a couple seasons, which would be huge for the sport, huge for the team. That's going to give you some relief. That's going to give you the ability to, hey, we signed these guys. Oh, look, we don't have to turn around and cut all these role players 2 years down the road because we had to sign Connor McDavid to a whatever he wanted extension here in a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Two quick hits here. I'm watching the game right now, and they just got into the first scuffle I've seen so far this year, and first of many.
All right.
And secondly, one of the sponsors, they're at Pittsburgh, mind you. One of the sponsors on the ice is Jägermeister, but they just have it on there as Jaeger, and then it just has like the Buck logo. And then so I'm like, wait, is it Jägermeister or Yarmer Jaeger?
It's all Yarmer Jager's world, and we're just living in it anyway.
Right. As he still plays hockey somewhere in Russia at age 47 or whatever.
There's a league somewhere that's having him. I promise you, there's a league somewhere. How's I don't have it on. I'm trying to be as focused into our conversation as we can. I don't want to be distracting myself. How is Bedard looking?
I mean, I guess I haven't really focused on him that much, but do you want to know the score? I can give you that.
I know the score. I know the score. It's 1-0. It's 1-0 Penguins, which okay, all right. I'm not surprised there.
I'm liking their broadcast in the sense that they have or each time you see the play going on, they've got little flags that'll tell you the person's name. So that's nice.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
You know who's on the ice.
Yeah, but I guess I haven't focused on Bedard yet.
Well, hopefully he gets his first NHL goal tonight.
Yeah. They were interviewing him. Like right in the first intermission.
He had his welcome to the NHL moment in one of their last preseason games against Minnesota. It wound up going to a shootout. Bedard went to take his shot, and he as a lot of skaters are doing now in shootouts, you're putting on your stick handling skills. You're putting on your display for the fans. Oh, yeah. And Marc-Andre Fleury was having none of it. I love it. He literally tripped him. He just stuck his goalie pad out, lifted his foot out from under him, and down Bedard went. He then skated past him and gave him a pat like, "It's okay, kid. You'll get it. Welcome to the NHL, buddy."
Right. I gotta give you your first lumps. Sorry.
Exactly. It's all right, kid. Awesome. You'll learn from it. It's fine.
Epic.
Real quick before we go to break, real quick, and then we'll dive into some of the stuff that has already happened and is happening tonight. Patty asks in the chat room, what do we think the chances are for the Sabres making the playoffs? Zach, you want to go first? You want me to take that?
Did you hang on? That depends. Did you read any of my answers from earlier?
One or two.
Well, why don't you start?
The Sabres, they're not going to catch anybody by surprise this season. I don't think they are not going to. People now know who Tage Thompson is. They know who Owen Power is. They know who some of these guys are. They're not going to catch anybody by surprise this season. The East is loaded. I would not be surprised to see them make the playoffs, though. It would not stun me. It would not shock me if they make the playoffs. I think, though, that it's going to be as a wild card. Your favorites are certainly going to be Toronto. You're certainly going to have Tampa Bay up there, though their goalie situation to start the season could make things very interesting, with Vasilevsky potentially not playing until December at some point. You can't win the division in October or November, but you can lose it in October or November. And of course, Matthew Tkachuk and everything in Florida, they're the reigning conference champions. I think Buffalo would be playing for a wild card spot, but I could legitimately see the Sabres making a playoff push. I believe you have a slightly different response to that question, though.
True. And I have real quick, I have an answer about Connor Bedard for you. They just said, excuse me, 11 minutes and 20 seconds of ice time, 9 shot attempts and 4 shots on goal so far.
I love it. Feed him the puck. The Blackhawks literally have nothing else. Thanks, Andreas Athanasiou. I have seen you. Give the puck to Connor.
Right.
Feed Connor. Feed Connor.
As a Red Wing who used to have Andreas on our team, I'm with you.
Fine skater. Get the puck to Bedard. Just get it over to him.
Yeah. I think Buffalo kind of like bottomed out after the whole Jack Eichel thing. And so they've gotten better in the last couple of years. I forget, were they even close to making the playoffs last year?
They were, yes. They did not make it, but they were they were in the running towards the end. They had a strong finish.
Okay. But yeah, I don't necessarily see it happening this year. I mean, if nothing else, and like you said, they do have some good up and coming players, Tage Thompson, Owen Power, etc.
And Patty points out in the chat, they have their own Canadian teenager that made the final roster too. Zach Benson is on the final roster. He was good. Zach, we're getting old. This is another kid that was born barely while I was still in high school. Born in May of 2005.
I cracked all those jokes during the draft last year, but next year the joke's going to be on me because those people will be, oh, I was born here, you graduated.
Yes. Oh, and believe me, I'm keeping receipts on that.
Right. Hang on, you just owe Dion $1. But yeah, you've got the nice up and coming people, players, Tage Thompson, Owen Power, like you mentioned. But if nothing else, just the strength of the Atlantic Division. Tampa Bay, Boston, Florida, the best they can do right now is a wild card.
Yeah. And their goalie situation is one that's Eric Comrie and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I'm gonna have fun saying that name all season long. That is. And I got it right on the first try. I'm gonna say it again because that name is just gonna be so much fun to say all season long. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen But
you normally struggle with that ones with those, so I'm impressed.
it is sheer effort, will, and a little bit of adrenaline.
Nice. Those Duolingo lessons are paying off, huh?
Exactly. I'm not doing anything with Eastern Europe, but it's it's working. It's all working. So
it's the Klingon. I get it.
There we go. Exactly. All right, let's take ourselves a quick little break, and then when we come back, let's talk about, we have one game that's already in the books to officially start the season, and then let's kind of just dive into what we think we're going to see this year. You are listening to The Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach will be right back after this.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Well, what is up, Carolina Nation? This is John Felipe of the Carolina Cast, of course, the podcast of, by, and for the Carolinas, right here on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm reminding you to tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the latest in Carolina sports, whether it's the Panthers that keep on pounding, the fly natures of the Hornets, the storming Hurricanes, the battle of the Blues with Duke and UNC, the fight of the Clemson Tigers, or the amazing atmosphere of any Carolina college. I'm talking App State, I'm talking ECU. I've got you covered. Once again, tune in for the Carolina Cast with me, John Felipe, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From where we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter, at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Of course, Cale Henderson will be coming up right after us in about 15 minutes from now to discuss all things Las Vegas. I am sure that he is going to be discussing those defending champion Las Vegas Golden Knights as they are getting ready to drop the puck. Let's face it, they'll realistically drop the puck about an hour from now. Let's face it. There's going to be a huge pregame ceremony. They're not going to get started right away. But there has been some hockey underway already tonight. We've got one game going on right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins lead the Chicago Blackhawks 2-0 in their season and home opener. And then also we have had one game already get completed. Zach, tell us a little bit about the game that already went on tonight.
Yes, sir. So Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Nashville Predators 5-3. Nick Paul got 2 goals, looks like. 2 power play goals even. And Jonas Johansson made 28 saves in his first start in place of the injured Andrei Vasilevsky.
And Braden Point did warm up. There was a point in warm-ups, and he got 3 assists on the night, I saw.
Yeah, that's, we always do love ourselves a good Braden Point.
Yes. Good
He's always good. Always good for at least a point.
He is. He's a point a night kind of a guy.
Yeah, he says, speaking of point, he says, I think the second got away from us, but happy with how we responded in the third.
You know, we talked a little bit about them right before the break. You know, with them down Andrei Vasilevsky for the first 2 months of the season as he's recovering from back surgery, they're going to need as many standings points as they can get. So to get 2 big ones right out of the gate against a Nashville team that missed the playoffs a year ago, but is a scrappy bunch, and in a weaker Western Conference could make some noise. It was important for Tampa that they got 2 points tonight to get off to a strong start.
Yeah. Let's see. So to go back to what Braden Point had said, during the second period, Nashville outshot the Lightning 14-5. Yeah, no wonder he was disappointed with the second, but happy with how they responded in the third.
Hey!
Was there even. Oh yeah, Chicago just scored.
My Blackhawks just scored. Ryan Donato got his first goal of the season. The Blackhawks will not get shut out in Pittsburgh. There we go. Moving on.
Dick Vitale was there at the game tonight at Tampa Bay. He was taking part in the ceremonial puck drop. Social Media Tuesday said he will have 2 scopes for the next 5 days to determine if his 35 radiation treatments wiped out his vocal cord cancer. Fingers crossed for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's remarkable, baby.
Oh, look, that's basketball.
Yes.
9-time Stanley Cup winning coach Scotty Bowman watched from the press box. 90-year-old Bowman saw his first NHL game in 1937 when his father, a Montreal Maroons fan, took him to see a game against the Canadiens. Holy crap. Woo.
The game was a little different in 1937, I imagine.
You love it.
For one thing, they didn't wear helmets.
Oh, gosh. Wonder how many teeth they lost back then. Dang.
Oh, all of them.
Right.
Just all of them.
Yeah.
How do you know whether or not the hockey player got time out on the ice? Did he have teeth or not?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, we were talking about teams to watch and teams, where we're going to predict them to finish for this year. And I'm excited for the Kraken. What they did in their second year was the most improved team in the league, I think was one record said, and they made the playoffs, and for them to beat the defending champs in Colorado, like that was just huge. I mean, anything else was going to be icing on the cake.
Yeah, to advance out of the first round too of the playoffs was tremendous for them. Who else are you liking going into this season? As we get started, who are some of the teams that you're liking?
Well, let's see. So definitely Vegas and Seattle. I'm still dumbfounded with what happened with Boston. Like, I mean, they had set the record for regular season wins last year, and then they just totally blew it in the first round of the playoffs, and that was just such a surprise to me. So it'd be interesting to see how they rebound from that. And you talk about Carolina. Carolina and Florida the last couple of years have been starting to hit their stride and reach their peak. So maybe they're going to be the front runners in the East.
Very good. I like it. And who do you like out west? Well,
I mean, I think you got to stick with Vegas. Defending champs until they get beaten.
What do you think of our old friends up north, the Edmonton Oilers, for this season?
Oh, man. I thought you were going to go Coyotes on me, but...
No, they...
No, I understand.
The Coyotes barely exist in my mind. I'm sorry.
We gotta do the sad coyote every time. Oh,
yeah.
Edmonton. We've said their name the last couple of years, thinking that they'd be in contention for the cup, and they just seem to have the same issue every single year with defense and goalie. And at this point, I think in order to say that they're going to be a front runner, I have to see it to believe it.
Yeah. So you're starting to get a little frustrated with them at this point?
Yeah, I mean, Connor McDavid's amazing and he puts up the video game numbers, but at the end of the day, where has it gotten them? I mean, have they won a cup? No. Do they make the playoffs every year? Yeah, which is huge. But in terms of contending, I don't, until they actually get out of, the first couple rounds, I'm not going to have much faith in them in terms of being a contender.
Yeah. For me, it's still to me, the netminder is still, that to me is always the big concern, the big issue with Edmonton. We know they can score. We know that offense can be scorching and intimidating and devastating when it wants to be, but you're gonna have, when you get into the playoffs, you're gonna, it's a different animal. You're not gonna be able to just depend on winning 6-4 or 9-6 kind of a game. You're just not gonna be able to get into games like that and expect them to go your way. You still got Jack Campbell there, which he was there a year ago, and okay, he was better than what they'd had before. You've got Ryan Fanti, a 24-year-old rookie, and you've got Stuart Skinner, another 24-year-old who just might have the greatest mustache in the history of hockey. My God. Wow. That is a... Wow.
We'll have to take a look.
Oh my gosh, this mustache! Holy cow! I mean, there's a handlebar mustache, and then there's this. This is he has a comb under his nose. It is amazing.
He has an actual live ferret under his nose.
Yes, he has a ferret under his face. But he actually had the better numbers a season. He had the better numbers a season ago, but he also had them in smaller doses with the team overall. If they can figure out the netminder situation, I still am very excited by Edmonton, by what I see there. I'm still gonna, as we're sitting here making preseason predictions, I'm not ready to give up on Edmonton yet. I'm going to say Edmonton comes out of the West. I feel like this will be the season where it'll finally come together, and we'll get to see Connor McDavid, maybe one of the greatest pure scorers in all of hockey, get to play for Lord Stanley Cup in June. The East is so deep. It is so good. I mean, Boston had that amazing season a year ago. You of course had Florida that took a little while to get started, but then once it did, went on that outstanding run with Sergei Bobrovsky playing out of his mind. Tampa Bay is always good. You can't count out the Maple Leafs because they've got Austin Matthews. They finally figured out how to get through the first round of the playoffs. The East, Buffalo could come up and steal a playoff series from somebody. I don't know that Buffalo necessarily would make a deep playoff run, but who knows? They could wind up in the second round. But I'm going to go Carolina. I'm going to say this is the year for the Hurricanes. I'm going to say we wind up with a Hurricanes-Oilers Stanley Cup final, and wow, I mean, the betting totals won't be able to go high enough on that one, but I will say that Edmonton takes that series in 6.
Yeah, I was going to say that everybody got the over on that.
All right, that sounds the horn for us. We're back. Season number 3 of the Neutral Zone is underway. We made it. We made it through an episode. as the second period has come to a close in Chicago. The Penguins are up 2-1. So we've got one game down, one game that is 2/3 of the way through, and then we're going to have the defending champs dropping the puck here shortly. It's hockey season. We're going to be with you all season long, breaking down all the scores in the NHL, breaking down the big news stories. We didn't talk at all about the Blue Jackets and their crazy offseason. We'll get into some of that as the season gets underway. We'll keep you posted on everything going on. We'll also let you know what's going on in the minor leagues, in Canada, in the World Juniors circuit, all kinds of fun stuff, the NCAA, all kinds of hockey news to keep you occupied, keep you entertained all throughout the season. Want to say thank you to our sponsors here at IE Sports Radio, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Thanking Larry B, all the hard work he does behind the scenes here at IE Sports Radio, keeping things going for us here. Thank you to Patty Bax for hanging out with us in the chat room tonight, talking about her Buffalo Sabres. She was on earlier tonight in the Buffalo Huddle, and I know she's excited not only for her Bills, but for her Sabres as well. So thank you, Patty, for hanging out with us. And finally, thank you for spending time here with us tonight on this Tuesday night. Or if you were listening later on in the week of the podcast, thank you for being here. For IE Sports Radio, for the Neutral Zone, for Zach Puplis, I am Adam Karnick. We are the Neutral Zone. Until next week, stay out of the penalty box, light the lamp, and as always, don't forget to protect your 5-hole. We will see you